get to the scale of millions to billions of users. Like we see with Ethereum right now in the gargantuan transaction fees. You move $1, you have to spend $50. It's crazy. And that's by design. It's not a bug or something. It's just how those protocols work. So building truly scalable protocols is a super hard thing because you have to admit adversaries, and you also have to admit that there's no centralized actor to optimize things. So we spent 6 years and 95 papers and lots of academic work to try to figure out what's possible and what's impossible.
All right, good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome back to Compound Interesting. My name's Emil, and in today's video, we're going to have a look at Cardano. So Cardano has gone on an absolute tear, if you've noticed at all recently. So obviously everyone wants to talk about it, so I thought I'd share my opinions on Cardano. So yeah, I do own some Cardano. I've been holding the bag since 2017. I probably bought it at like 70 cents back then, and now it's went all the way up to like $1.40. But I also bought a little bit during the dip. I bought it at 8 cents and like 13 cents or something. So that, yeah, those buys are up like 1500% or something crazy, but I only put in very small amounts. Anyway, that's kind of besides the point. The point of this video is to let you know whether Cardano is a good buy right now at this very moment, when it is above $1, if it actually has potential to go to 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 in the next decade or so. So kind of what the bet for Cardano is that you're betting that it will replace Ethereum. So it's a blockchain. It is its own blockchain, like the way Ethereum is its own blockchain and Bitcoin is its own blockchain, and then things can be built upon Cardano. So the difference between Ethereum and Cardano: Charles Hoskinson, the CEO of Cardano, was also the co-founder of Ethereum, and he's a really smart fucker, to be honest. So he's really smart. So I like some interviews with him. So yeah, he really knows what he's talking about. He's a smart guy. So he decided to take a different approach than Ethereum. So what Ethereum did, they wanted to get their smart contract blockchain. They wanted to get everything going straight away and get the biggest network effects and kind of just fix all the fires as they go. So it's kind of been working well for them, but as some of you might be aware, there's some serious scaling issues with Ethereum. So there's high network fees if you want to transact on the Ethereum blockchain. For example, Uniswap. I went onto Uniswap and I wanted to buy some shitcoin. So Uniswap is a decentralized exchange. So it's an exchange where you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies without any company, no company facilitating the trade. So I went on Uniswap and I wanted to put a few $100 into some shitcoin because I thought it was going to go to the moon or whatever, just a speculative bet into some really small market cap coin. And to be able to do this transaction, I had to pay like $70, $50 to $70 in a transaction fees using the Ethereum blockchain. So obviously there's demand. So there's obviously a strong use case for other blockchains apart from Ethereum, which might have lower gas fees in the future. So that's why Binance, with the Binance coin, really pumped recently as well, because they have their Binance Smart Chain, which is, I'm not going to get into that right now, but yeah, it's just cheaper fees. So that's what Cardano is going to offer to the crypto community: cheaper fees to use their blockchain. So Ethereum kind of went hell for leather, let's get everything out there and we'll fix things as we go. So they're even transitioning from a proof of work model to a proof of stake model at the moment. So they're trying to transition the entire blockchain from proof of work to proof of stake, whereas Cardano kind of went with the slow and steady model. So they're kind of making sure before they release anything or before they implement any changes, they're really making sure what they're doing, and everything that they do is peer reviewed. So they don't just come up with a white paper, 5 guys for 2 weeks come up with a white paper, hash it all out and try and fix it as they go. They put up their ideas, allow these papers to be peer reviewed. So people in the computer science space, like professors, etc., will all review the material and tell you what the problems are with it or better ways they could implement it. So peer review is a slow of getting things done, but it means you might end up with a better end product. So, and probably, to be honest, Cardano is the better end product than Ethereum.
Opt a peer review system, and it doesn't actually super slow us down. It's more of a nice waypoint to get some things. The other nice part about it is that independent people of the project, when they say, how do you know Cardano works? Here's what happens when you meet these cryptocurrency founders. They're all brilliant people, and they give you a paper and they say, look at all the math, look at the code, look at this. And you're like, okay. I was like, are you a computer scientist? Are you a mathematician? Can you actually read the paper? Most people can't. 99.9% of people can't. They're just symbols on paper. So how do you know it works? You have faith in Bob or Bill or Jim or Jane that they actually did their homework and did it right. So what does that mean? You've developed a cult of personality around a founder, and you hope to God that that cult is not going to lead you down to the realm of Stalin. You hope it's a beneficent dictator. And you know what? The more power you give an individual, the worse it is for everybody. So one thing that was super important to me is I said we need to have checks and balances that said even the guy who started it is not above it and is constrained by some behavior. And they have an expectation that before we make a claim, the claim is checked by independent people who are outside of the system who are equally qualified to verify that that claim is right. The other thing is it gives you a decentralized brain. When I talk about 900 citations for the GEKL paper, that means 900 groups of scientists read the paper and thought that it was connected in some way to what they were doing and cited it. And here's what happens. Those teams call you. They talk to you. They say, did you think about this? Do you think about that? Like we created Ouroboros. And some academics out of Stanford and UIUC, they created a variant of it called Nakamoto proof of stake. It's actually a problem we wanted to solve. We were a little like, God damn, we wish we would have written that paper. But now that that's part of the commons, I get that for free. Okay, I don't have to invent that myself. And there's certain people in academia who you cannot talk to in a commercial sense. Like a great example would be Adi Shamir, the S in RSA. He's crazy fucking rich. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars. You can't call up Adi and be like, Adi, you need to come work for me. He'd be like, I'm an old man. But he's super academically engaged still. And so if you want to go talk to Adi, it's easy. You go to an academic conference that he happens to be at, and he'll talk to you. I was on a panel with the guy. He asked me about proof of stake. It was a great moment. And so you want to not only have a decentralized brain and get rid of the cult of personality, but then you also want to be able to talk to people that you can only talk to in that particular setting. And a corollary to that is that it makes it truly universal, because universities are everywhere. You can invite Ethiopian universities, you can invite Korean universities, you can invite every.
So from a technology point, Cardano could be one of the best cryptocurrencies there are from a tech standpoint. However, is the technology enough to take Ethereum's place? That's the real question you need to ask yourself. So let's talk about a few of the advantages Cardano has over Ethereum. So it uses a layered approach, which means that you can get like 1 million transactions per second using layering. So everything isn't settled on the original base layer blockchain. So one blockchain can only handle so many transactions. So what they do is they create another blockchain kind of on top of it that does many, many transactions, and then the final settlement of the transactions are finished on the base layer blockchain. So that's kind of the same thing that the Lightning Network is doing for Bitcoin. If you've heard of that, the Lightning Network allows for thousands of transactions to occur, like minuscule transactions to occur on the Lightning Network, which aren't secured by the enormous Bitcoin transaction hash power. But these ones are less secure transactions, but once they've done all their transactions, then they do final settlement on the Bitcoin blockchain. So with that approach, the transaction fees on Cardano are going to be much, much less than they are currently on Ethereum.
Was always, how do we get economic identity to the billions of people who don't have it? Well, you build them a financial operating system that can handle their identity, their value, and give them a governance stack. So you don't need central actors to run everything. So when you actually follow that through logically, you say, well, hang on a second here. I have to build a system with billions of users, but no Microsoft or Apple or Google. Holy moly, that's hard. So we said, well, the first thing we have to solve is this idea that you bring more than you take. So, imagine like a potluck or, something like that, where normally when you go to meet some family and friends, you would bring some food with you. And ideally, you'd bring as much or more food than the food you eat. So no matter how many people show up, there's always enough for people to eat. Right now, with all cryptocurrencies, it's the same amount of food. You're just adding more chairs around the table. So the more people who show up, the less food for everybody. That's not a sustainable system. And you're not going to get to the scale of millions to billions of users. Like we see with Ethereum right now in the gargantuan transaction fees. Move $1, you have to spend $50. It's crazy. And that's by design. It's not a bug or something. It's just how those protocols work. So building truly scalable protocols is a super hard thing because you have to admit adversaries, and you also have to admit that there's no centralized actor to optimize things. So we spent 6 years and 95 papers and lots of academic work to try to figure out what's possible and what's impossible. And a lot of it has been translating these massive systems that Google has built and others have built and asking, okay, well, how do we get what they've done but not have Google? these types of things.
Another nice thing Cardano does is there's massive interoperability. So they don't want any blockchain being left out from being able to be used on their blockchain. Like Ethereum, you kind of have to use Ethereum's language, and whereas with Cardano, you can kind of bring anything you want onto the Cardano blockchain. They're kind of trying to make it easy for that. And they even have set up, like, this is obviously computer science, not my area of expertise, but they're allowing, if you've created a blockchain or a token on the Ethereum blockchain, Cardano have set up a way that you can straight away bring it over to Cardano with very little headache. Made it really easy to do that, kind of to try and steal some of Ethereum's tokens and Ethereum's developers, etc.
The other side of it is that once you have billions of people, they have to get along. So you need a management system to be able to kind of allow them to express themselves and vote, and also pay for stuff as the system wants to upgrade. So you need a treasury system, you need a voting system, you need a governance system, a way of doing hard forks and so forth, because it's not going to work. You'll get to a certain point like Bitcoin where it's impossible to evolve behind a certain point. So you're just another checkpoint at that point, and then people leave you behind when the next generation comes out and then you're gone. And then finally, there are 8,000 cryptocurrencies. There's hundreds of legacy financial systems. You need to be interoperable. You need to have the ability to talk to all those systems. Could you imagine Wi-Fi if Wi-Fi was only constrained to the manufacturer? So like your Apple phone can only connect to an Apple router. Your Google phone can only connect to a Google router. Oh, it just wouldn't work. I mean, there's nothing humans agree on, but Wi-Fi is the one true religion. You can be in North Korea, you could be in Iran, you could be in Israel, you can be in Japan, South Korea, China, Russia, and the United States, and your phone can connect to the Wi-Fi in all those countries. It's truly extraordinary when you think about that geopolitically, that's the one true faith of humanity, that and Bluetooth that we've gotten. So you kind of need a Wi-Fi Bluetooth moment in finance, and you need something where regardless of what system you happen to live in, there's a way for your thing to talk to their things, and there's a bridge for that. So whatever the third generation of cryptocurrencies happen to be, it has to do those three things. Your users have to produce as much as they consume so you can sustainably grow to billions. You have to have a Wi-Fi moment where everything just works, and you have to have a governance system that means that when you get to that scale, you don't fragment apart and break apart into 1,000 pieces, or get to a certain point where you just simply can't grow anymore.
The other cool thing that Cardano has, the advantage over Ethereum, is that it's really, really easy to build on Cardano. They've created a blockchain language, or whatever, however it's phrased, that's much more simple to use than Ethereum's Solidity programming language. So Cardano have made it extraordinarily easy. So basically, you don't even need to be a computer scientist. Maybe you'd want to be, but you don't need to be able to create a token or some sort of blockchain application onto Cardano. You can just drag and drop. I'll show you a little clip of it now, but yeah, essentially it's much easier to build things on Cardano, or it will be, because they've really thought about it before they've created the language for Cardano. So obviously the bet is that Cardano becomes so much better than Ethereum that everyone switches to Ethereum. Personally, I think the probability of that isn't enormously high. I think maybe somewhere in like the 10% range, that everyone, all the developers are developing on Ethereum right now. So Ethereum already has all the network effects. They already have all the tokens built on Ethereum. They already have all the decentralized apps, the decentralized exchanges, you name it, is already all on Ethereum. So it's going to be, for Cardano to be able to take market share from Ethereum, it's going to have to be 10 times better than Ethereum. And for me, personally, I just don't think Cardano is 10 times better. Like, what's going to make you switch toothpaste brand? What's going to make you switch from Coca-Cola to Royal Cola? Usually it has to be 10 times better. What's going to make you change cars? If you want to change from a gas-powered vehicle to an electric vehicle, that electric vehicle's got to be 10 times better. And with Teslas, obviously they probably are 10 times better, but let's not get into that right now. I'm very biased on that front. So many people think Ethereum could 10x from, in this cycle, could go from 1,500 now to 10 to 20,000 within this cycle. And Cardano is currently 1/5 the market cap of Ethereum. So if Cardano 5x'd, but then took Ethereum's place, and Ethereum, instead of Ethereum doing that 10x, that Cardano did that 10x and became the global smart contract platform, then it's obviously a 50x for Cardano. But from a risk to reward standpoint, I don't think for me, it's probably not the best time to buy, in my opinion. It's already done a 10x, and the likelihood of that happening isn't high enough, in my opinion, to warrant investing in right now, in my personal opinion. I think there are better deals in cryptocurrency, particularly Chainlink. I think is a much better risk to reward opportunity right now. Chainlink has been lagging everything else while Cardano has been booming ahead of everything else. Chainlink is on a spring that's sprung all the way back, and it's ready to pop, in my personal opinion, because the Chainlink Foundation or the Chainlink company has been selling loads of Chainlink on the open market to fund their projects, but in the next couple of weeks they're going to run out of money in that wallet that they've been selling of Chainlink, so they won't have more Chainlink to sell. So that is assumed to be what has been keeping the price a little bit down recently. Well, just because I'm not buying Cardano doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't buy Cardano. Maybe if I didn't have any Cardano, I would definitely be interested in buying a little bit of Cardano now, just in case that does play out. However, because I think it's like my third biggest position now, because it's run up quite a lot and the others haven't run up quite so much as Cardano, so that's why I'm not really interested in adding any more at these prices personally. But if you had listened to me in my last altcoins to the moon video about 8 months ago, I told you to buy Cardano back then and it was like 13 cents. I told you to buy Chainlink back then, it was like $4, and I told you a couple of others which haven't performed as well but are still up. But obviously when something's pumping, people want to hear about it, so that's why I'm bringing you the Cardano video again now. If you want to hear what my next couple of cryptocurrency picks are, make sure you're subscribed so you see those videos coming in the future. And comment below if there's any cryptocurrencies that I might know that you think are really interesting, but make sure you tell me why they're interesting or what they do. Don't just say VeChain to the moon or whatever. I do on some VeChain, by the way. Anyway, make sure to subscribe, notifications, hit the like, would be really appreciated. I really hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Thank you.